Hi guys, Chris here with Super Savvy Travelers. Hey, today I wanted to go over some of the reasons people are flocking to Italy right now. And boy, they're flocking, okay? We just did a little bit of a dive into Mola di Bari with a client, and oh my gosh, we contacted our agents over there, and the stuff's just flying off the market. So Mola di Bari is still very undervalued as far as along that Pulian coast. Very good property values, but people are starting to wake up to the fact. So if you want Mola di Bari, get in now, quickly, while you have the time. Other areas around there are also booming. Puglia is just very hot right now. And as I said in my recent video, there is a movie coming out that features the area in and around Montepulciano and Piazzas, and that is always a hot region, always very desirable, but surprising values are there. So we've gone over some of those in our previous videos, but really, why is everybody now so intent on fleeing to Italy? And I call it fleeing because a lot of people, it seems like they're fleeing, you know, and I understand. So one of the key things that I glom onto all the time, and I talk to you about it so many times, you know, people want to go to Italy, they talk about the food, they talk about the culture, you know, all of those things. Yes, they're all very important. But what really people are looking for, and they don't even know they're looking for it, is a sense of belonging, a sense of community, a sense of being a part of something bigger than you or your immediate family and that kind of thing. And I really, truly think that most people that go to Italy are yearning for that connection that we seem to sadly be losing a little bit in the United States. And we can blame a lot of things for that. I mean, I know when reality TV came in and it made it very, you know, cool to be mean to each other. I looked at that and I'm like, what the heck is that? And people were watching it, and I'm sorry, but it did change the culture. And it makes the people that have a penchant for being meaner, but it makes the other people who are tend to be the victims of that kind of meanness more, they just want to protect themselves more. And I do feel that people in general have sort of pulled in and are trying in protective mode. I mean, the world, let's be honest, the world is an injured bird right now, guys. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of changes that are happening very fast. And it's easy to feel like we are the effect. We can't do anything about it. We're just one guy. But the bottom line is that sense of community that's in Italy that everybody wants. And I will say it, everybody wants it. They don't know they do, but they do. And that's really what we found there. And that's why it was so valuable to us. You know, when we arrived in this village, we became part of it. We became part of the joys and the sorrows, and their losses are our losses, and their joys are our joys. You know, it's a lovely, lovely thing. It does require you to open up and be a little bit more vulnerable, because when you love somebody really deeply, you can be hurt. And we know that. But my whole point and purpose of this video is, yes, come to Italy, find that community and everything else, but that might take a little bit of time. The whole truth of the matter is that you can create that where you are. So, you know, the big trend I see, I was seeing this guy on Instagram, and this guy, oh, I love this guy. He goes out and he finds needy people and he does something great for them. The latest one where there was a guy who at 88 was still working full time because he cashed in his retirement or whatever to care for his sick wife. She died, and now he's working until the end of his life. And this guy did a GoFundMe for him and raised like $1.7 million. So the guy could just retire and just enjoy his life. And it was just really amazing. But he raised it on a GoFundMe. And that shows me that people, first of all, he has millions of followers, and people want to see that positivity. And they also want to be part of that positivity. But you don't have to wait for somebody like that. You know, you can start right away. And I'll tell you a little story you know, when I was in the corporate world, and, you know, it was stressful, and I had kids, and it was just very tiring. And I had to drive a long way to work, at least 45 minutes every day to get to work, and then 45 minutes on the way back. And as I was driving, I would sometimes go through this residential zone. And one day I was driving through the residential zone, and I saw this same guy that I saw out walking every morning, you know. And he looked a little intent, you know, and he was walking toward me because he did that every morning. And when I saw that guy yesterday and the day before, and I said, you know, I'm going to wave at that guy. And I did. I waved at him, and he kind of went, you know, what? What is that? It's a crazy lady. And I went, okay, you know, I was a little like, oh, maybe I should have done that. But then part of me went, no, you know what? This guy has not been waved at enough. He needs to be waved at more. whether he did or he didn't. Anyway, so I waved at him every day. And it started out him going, oh, okay, well, all right, she's waving. Sooner or later, he started smiling, and pretty soon he was waving back. And pretty soon we would start to look for each other. Now, I've never met this man before in my life. I haven't seen him before or since. But for, maybe a good year that I was commuting into work, I looked for this guy and he looked for me. And we had a little connection for a few seconds. And I think it made him happy. And I know it made me happy. So my point is, we don't really a lot of times confront each other, meaning look at each other, look at the people around you. I was out at the supermarket yesterday and I looked up and I saw this beautiful man. I'm like, oh, this man is so beautiful. And then I started noticing that child is gorgeous. Look at the way the sun shines on her hair, and the lady, the checkout lady, trying real hard to get through a shift when I know she's tired. I can see she's tired, but just a little bit of a smile, a little bit of a friendly word, or maybe a compliment on her earrings or something like that. It can go a really long way toward softening up that harsh exterior that people feel like they have to hide behind. And I feel it too sometimes, It's taken me a long time to let that down and be open and vulnerable to attacks or whatever else, comments or whatever. So my advice is definitely come to Italy, because why would you not? You can move, you can come on vacation, you can do all of those things. We have a lot to learn from those guys because they have retained their communities despite social media, despite constant internet messages of alarming natures and toxicity and negativity. And we can learn a lot from them. So in the meantime, it's Christmas. So go out and look at people. Notice how beautiful they are. They really are quite beautiful when you start really looking, and connect with them. It means the world to a lot of people. And if you get rebuffed at first, that's fine. Maybe that person needs to be waved at a few more times. And maybe you wave forever and they never, okay, go on to the next person. There's plenty of people that are kind of hurting and injured, and a little tiny bit of care and compassion will go a very long way. So that is my take on why people are moving to Italy and coming to Italy and doing everything they do in Italy. Like I said, we have a lot to learn from them, but let's start right where we are. There you go, guys. See you soon.